Everything's okay.
Good.
Test. Okay.
Looks like an old shaving brush.
Testing. Any feedback?
Cell phone with a pink case. Someone left one on a bench down here in the snowcat.
Cell phone with a pink case. Anybody looking for a cell phone with a pink case? All right, so lost cell phone. Anybody looking for a lost cell phone? Check your pockets. You have your phone. I know everybody in your boat does. I'm yelling at other people. Sorry. Bear with me. Do we have 19? Is that what we're supposed to have? Yes, we're supposed to have 19. The stern line's still attached. All right. See how organized we are, right? You guys know we all are volunteers here, so we do our best, but it's not the. Sometimes we lack a little bit. All right, looks like we're ready to cast off. All right. Looks like we're casting off. Welcome aboard the Lois Miley. The Lois is our replica canal boat. A couple things you can tell that it's a replica. The first thing is it's made out of fiberglass. When this canal was in operation, there was no such thing as fiberglass. It would have been made out of wood. The second thing you can tell, we got to back up. What are we doing? We lost somebody, we missed somebody. Nobody fell off. I'm not sure what's going on, but bear with us. So anyway, here's a couple of safety things I'll tell you while we're doing that. Anyway, remember I said this is a replica. One of the things that we would not been able to do if we were on a real canal boat is we would not have had an engine. So we would not have had anything to back up. Our engine, when this canal was in operation, would have been walking along this path on the left-hand side. This is what's known as a tow path or a mule path. So actually our engine would have been a mule, and that mule would have been pulling us. We do not have any rapids or waterfalls on the canal, so you don't have to worry about any of that kind of stuff. Our boat does sometimes, however, sway side to side. So we ask that you do remain seated the entire time we are moving, because we'd rather have you in our boat than in our canal. The other safety thing that I will point out to you is down both rows right in front of your feet, there are life jackets. In the event that we get torpedoed or we hit an iceberg and we start to sink, you are welcome to grab a life jacket and swim for it. Or you can simply stand up and walk to either side of the canal, because we're in about 2.5 to 3 feet of water. All right, so let us get back to dock here. We'll have to see what we need back here, and then we'll figure out. All right, so we're going to bring 2 on board and lose 2 crew members. All right. Yeah. You're getting the extended version of the tour. You might have to hear the bad life jacket joke twice now.
I never heard that one.
Yeah, right. Ton of manure. So you can tell that the canal company valued manure and people pretty equally. All right, we're going to start again.
We're going to do an expedited turn.
Okay.
Unos, dos, go!
Nobody wind up in the water. The crew got us off without anyone getting wet. We'll call that a win. All right, so now we're going to start again. The subsequent damming of the creek actually killed off the eel species. It was not until about 20 years ago, when eels have been reintroduced, that you can once again find freshwater eels in the Swatara Creek. So I'm going to pause the history narration for just a second, because what you're about to see is the crowning achievement of the creation of this canal. This is the Union Canal Tunnel. Keep in mind that everything that we've been sailing on so far, and everything that we're about to go through, all has to be created by hand. There's no machinery when this canal is being built. So there's no bulldozers, there's no steam shovels, there's no excavators, there's no dynamite, none of that stuff exists. So everything is going to have to be built by using picks, shovels, something called a star drill, and gunpowder. Those are the only tools that the folks had to actually build this. I should have asked this before. Who's scared of bats? Oh no. Oh, you don't have to worry about it. We don't have any bats. You're good. Bats won't roost over water, so there's no bats in the tunnel. But I will tell you, you're going to get dripped on. And you're going to get dripped on, and the water's about as pure as you can get. By the way, you'll also feel it drop a degree or two. The water that's going to drip on you is probably coming through about 60 to 80 feet of rock that's on top of us. So it's filtered through a lot of rock. It's pretty good shape. What I will point out, some geological things. On the right-hand side of the boat, if you follow my light, you'll see this big crack that goes up the whole side of the tunnel. Geologists tell us 160 million years ago, there was a major earthquake here. This part of the continent was geologically active. That earthquake caused that split in the rock. It caused that crack that you're seeing there. A couple other things to note from a geological standpoint. Some of our rocks have some staining. We just went past some green back there. Anybody have any idea what mineral might cause green staining in rocks? Copper is correct. Nice. How about the brown staining? Anybody have an idea what mineral might cause the brown staining in the rocks? Iron is also correct. We have some iron content in the rocks here. We don't have as much as there is in the southern part of the county. If you're familiar with the Cornwall ore mines and the Cornwall iron furnace, that actually has a high concentration of iron ore in that area. So we have a little bit here, but not as much. The other color you're going to see is white. That's calcium. That's limestone is going to be, when the water evaporates coming through the limestone, it leaves that white. I'm going to point out, and I'll put my light on some of these straight lines that you're going to see. We'll see them on both sides of the boat. There's one up there. There's another one. If you look off the side of the boat, you'll see them all over the place. Those straight lines are made by a tool called a star drill. And when we get to the other side, I'll actually show you what a star drill looks like and how those lines were made. But let's get back to our construction and the whole idea around creating of this canal and ultimately the tunnel. So if you remember, in 1762, the survey crew goes out. It follows the creeks, rivers, and streams that I talked about. And the survey crew reports back to the American Philosophical Society that yes, indeed, building a canal is going to be possible. So the next hurdle comes up in the 1770s. Unfortunately, the colonies are about to experience something in 1770s that's once again going to put the whole concept of building a canal and tunnel on hold. Anybody have an idea what we're about to experience in the 1770s? The Revolutionary War. So the Revolutionary War is going to happen. Once again, everything is kind of sidetracked on the canal building. It's not until the Revolutionary War is over that we can actually get back as a country. We're now the United States. We can certainly start thinking about building some infrastructure. I'm going to pause for a second again and look for our resident owls. There's a couple of perches here that they like to hang out on. I do not see them. They weren't here earlier. They probably have the weekend off because I can't imagine they'd be working today. So no owls, sorry about that.
What kind of owl?
I think they're called barred owls. So they're relatively small, but they've been nesting in here for probably 3 or 4 years now. We've seen them. All right, as we exit the tunnel, we'll go back a little bit to the history. So it's not until after the Revolutionary War that the concept of building this canal is going to be back in the forefront. Much like today, if you were guaranteed a 6% return, you would probably like that idea. So investors started to flow in and they actually had money to be able to work on the canal again. So it's not until the late 18 teens and early 1820s where work really begins in earnest and the canal company actually starts to make some progress. What are some of the things that you'd be interested in having? If you're going to look for a job today, what are you looking for? Money? Benefits? All right. I'll be back in a second to tell you what some of those money and benefits were. Captain Vince and I are going to turn the boat, though, so we'll be right back.